Hey everyone, Sunday, September 1st, and today I wanted to do a little bit of a fun video that's a little less serious. In front of me, you'll see 2 packages of tiger figs. These tiger figs came from Trader Joe's. Next to it, you'll see a cutting board with 5 different types of figs. And these figs I picked from my own garden outside. They're at varying stages of ripeness, and I wanted to do a little bit of a taste test comparison between a store-bought fig and between figs harvested from my own garden. But before I go ahead and do this, I want to give you a little bit of a story. I went to college in Philadelphia, and about 8 to 10 blocks away from where I lived when I was in college, there was a Trader Joe's, and that gave me my first exposure to Trader Joe's. It was a bit of a long walk away, so I only went there when I needed to get very specific ingredients that I couldn't find anywhere else. And this is probably going to sound like the most millennial story you've ever heard before, and I assure you it probably is. But in 2009, I went off on my own, and when I moved into my own place, I was about 3 blocks away from a Trader Joe's. And at that point, I started going there frequently every single weekend for all of my grocery shopping. And it became so frequent, it almost became cultural to me. And it was at that point that I decided that I never want to live anywhere that isn't within 30 minutes of a Trader Joe's. And since then, I've lived in 5 different houses, 4 of them being rentals, and I have stuck to my word. I have never been less than 30 minutes away from a Trader Joe's. I have to live by one. They are a very unique store. And if this sounds like the most millennial thing you've ever heard of before, well, my response to that would be you've probably never shopped at Trader Joe's, at least with any frequency, because it is a totally different experience, and it is the only grocery store that we all, being myself, my girlfriend, my family, her family, we all love going to. It's a fun experience. They have cool stuff. It is the only time that grocery shopping is truly fun for everybody. But Trader Joe's, what's great about them is they're one of the few grocery stores that will carry figs. And I have been buying figs from Trader Joe's for many years over the course of 2 different states. And the types of figs, they get 3 different types of figs in every single year. One is a black fig. They just call it, it's a conventional black fig. The other is their organic black fig. And then for a very brief time, they get these tiger figs in. Now, what they call black fig tends to vary per year. For example, last year, they were offering 2-pound flats of black figs that were a black mission type, and they were quite good. I was buying 1 to 2 flats of them every single week. I really enjoyed them. The 1-pounders were consistently California brown turkey, and I did not like them. The black mission types were much better. This year, they never got in the 2-pound flats. Around the end of July, they start getting in the conventional black figs, and since the end of July, they have always been stocking these conventional black figs, and they've always been consistently 1-pound packages of California brown turkey, and they have been, frankly, terrible. They're usually far underripe, they're very pithy. Only about half of them are edible. Some of them you have to just throw right away because they're almost like a Capra fig. They're so dry inside. And then you'll get maybe 2 or 3 that are very, very ripe in the package that are decent and that taste like cantaloupe. They're very boring. I don't like them and I don't recommend them. I don't think they're worth the money. The organic black figs they've been getting in, they usually get them in starting in August. They're a couple weeks behind their conventional black figs. And this year they have been Black Mission, or a Black Mission type. And they've been pretty decent. They're about another 50 cents for the container for a 1-pound package, and they're totally worth the additional 50 cents because the California brown turkeys are pretty lousy, and the Black Missions, they're not going to knock your socks off, but they're pretty good, and they're consistently edible. You can usually eat every single one in the package. But in September, you get the holy grail of grocery store figs. You get these tiger figs in. And these tiger figs, as far as I can tell, they are Bordissot Blanca Rimada, which is more commonly called Panachee. Most people pronounce it panache, but it's actually pronounced Panachee. There's supposed to be 2 E's on the end, but they've dropped the E over the years, at least in this country. So what I want to do is These are probably the best grocery store figs you're going to get, and I want to go through these and try to pick out a couple of very ripe ones and compare them to figs that I grew in my own garden. And what I have here is what feels like a near perfectly ripe Italian 258, a slightly underripe Col de Dame Noir that probably could have used another day. This is a Marseilles Black MBVS, Marseilles Black VS, that is a Chicago hardy type that probably could have used another day, but I find this variety is good, a little underripe. A Lattarula Italian Honey fig, which I think could have used another day or two. These usually need to be overripe to be quite good. And then a Smith, which feels pretty soft and ready to go. So I want to rinse some of these off and give you a comparison of the Trader Joe's Tiger figs versus my own. Alright, these Tiger figs are above and beyond any of the other grocery store figs that I've been able to find. And one of the things that is a dead giveaway is on this package, this does not have Trader Joe's logo on it. When you buy any of their black figs, they're in a Trader Joe's container. The location of where you're getting your figs are unknown. But this says it is packed by Herman Produce Sales, LLC in Madera, California. So these people are probably pretty proud of their product, and hopefully these are harvested at a better quality than you typically get from unmarked produce in a grocery store. So I picked three very nice ones. And if you have ever talked to people that grow the Panache variety in California, a lot of people will tell you this is one of the finest figs you can have in California. And this is not a fresh fig off the tree, so it's not a fair comparison to a fresh caprified Panache right off the tree maybe. But for a grocery store fig, it's probably as good as you're going to get. And that's a really nice fig there, weighing in at 61 grams. That's one of the biggest, ripest ones I could find. This one weighs in at 47, which is a nice size. And this one looks slightly smaller at 45. So I'm really excited to try those three. The Smith is probably the smallest fig I have on me, and that is 20 grams, 21 grams. It's a little awkwardly shaped. The Lattarula is slightly larger at 35 grams. The MBVS, Marseilles Black VS, is 29 grams, which is a nice size for a Chicago hardy type. The Col de Dame Noir is 44 grams, and the Italian 258 looks to be the largest one, and that is at 50 grams. So I'm going to cut all of these open and show you what they look like inside. And these are the Panaches. You can see they have a very nice red jammy interior inside, and they don't particularly look like the ones that I see on fig forums when they're deep red and caprified, so I can't tell you if these are in fact caprified figs. So I would think there's a good chance that they are, because if they're grown in a fig farm in California, there may be a fig wasp population nearby. But it's hard to say for sure. This is the Italian 258, and that looks pretty nice and red. And again, these are all North Carolina ripened, so it's ripening in persistent humidity and not in a desert arid climate or semi-arid Mediterranean climate in California. This is the Col de Dame Noir. This one is the Marseilles Black VS. This one is the Smith, which looks a little overripe and damaged. That one might not be a fair comparison. And this is the Lattarula Italian Honey. I'll give you a quick pass through of all the different figs. Again, Lattarula Italian Honey up here. Smith here, which looks a little sour. Marseilles Black VS here. Col de Dame Noir here. Italian 258 here. And those three up there are the Panache AKA Bordissot Blanca Rimada. I'm going to start with the Smith because it doesn't really look too good. Smells all right. It's actually very good. It's a little overripe, but it is very sweet. Not the best looking fig, but Smiths rarely are. Not bad. Mostly just tastes like sugar. This is the Italian honey fig, the Lattarula, and usually these figs have to be extremely overripe to be very, very good. And when they are extremely overripe, they are very, very good. This one probably could have used a few more days. And it does. When these are not completely ripe, they kind of taste like kind of like a honeydew that isn't very sweet. This one definitely could have used a little bit more time. But still edible, decent. This is the Marseilles Black VS. This looks like it could have used another day. This will start to get jammy in the center. I have a number of these ripening, and so far this has been my best Chicago Hardy / Mount Etna type. And that definitely could have used another day or two to get jammy, but I would say it has a very mild berry flavor. The Col de Dame Noir. I've had 2 of these this week, and they've all been stellar. This is a very good fig, and I'm excited to try this one. Definitely could have used another day or two. It tastes sweet. It is jammy, but it's not up to par with the other ones that I've had. These have to be extremely ripe to be very, very good. They should feel like a soft bag of jelly when you harvest them, in my opinion, and this needed several more days. So it's not as fair of a fight as it should be. The Italian 258 has been stellar no matter when I've had it, whether it's a little underripe or overripe. This has always been a very good fig. And I'll see how this tastes. Oh, it's so different than all the other figs. It's so complex. It almost has like a maple syrup taste to it. There's so much going on in here, it's tough to describe. It's thick and jammy, but if you've ever had pancakes with maple syrup and fresh strawberries on it, it kind of tastes like if you take the strawberries and you heat them up in maple syrup and you cook it and you get the strawberries nice and soft to where it actually blends into the syrup. That's what this tastes like. It's like strawberry pancake syrup. It's fantastic. Very, very, very good. The Italian 258 has consistently been my best fig. This is the Panachee. It's the biggest one that I had. Wow. That tastes like strawberry syrup. Wow. That is very similar to the Italian 258. I would say the Italian 258 has a darker flavor to it. I would say the Italian 258 tastes like a strawberry flavored maple syrup, whereas this tastes more like a strawberry syrup. If you were to use some kind of almost like a more artificial syrup, or you were to just boil sugar into a glucose syrup and add the strawberries to it, and you made a strawberry pancake syrup without the maple flavor, that would be like this. Now I kind of want to try one from each, since this fig appears to be a little different It looks like that this one was caprified because it has an open center and it has a number of seeds in it, whereas it looks like this one may not have been caprified because it is a uniform kind of mushy center. That's just a theory. This one has a seed crunch to it, and it's not quite as good as the first one, but still pretty good. And we'll give the third time's the charm with this one. Very, very, very good. For a grocery store fig, that is spectacular. If I had to rank them, I would rank the Italian 258 as the best, followed by this, the Panache, with the Col de Dame Noir behind that, followed by, well, the other three weren't ripened properly, so it's not really fair to judge the Lattarula, the Marseilles Black, and the Smith. The Col de Dame Noir is not really even a fair comparison because the one that I had the other day that was perfectly ripe was stellar, and this one just isn't up to par because it isn't properly ripened yet. So there you go, everybody. I just wanted to take a little bit of time and let you know that quality grocery store figs are possible from a mass market national chain. Trader Joe's, when they get their tiger figs in, they're really quite good. I truly believe that most people that think they don't like figs have never really had figs. They've only had fig Newtons or dried figs, or they've had some terrible under-ripened fig from the grocery store that's not very fresh. If you get a grocery store fig like this does not do the fig reputation dirty like many of the under-ripened California brown turkeys we get. Everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for future updates and more videos like these. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all again next time.